Welcome to Space News Brief. You can find us on Twitter at Space News Brief or online at bluehelmco.com. Today in 1954, the first American four-stage rocket was launched by the Pilotless Aircraft Research Division of the NACA's Langley Laboratory at Wallops Island. Today is Wednesday, October 14th, and these are your top space news headlines. SpaceX is looking at ways it could provide weather data to the U.S. military. The company is working under a $2 million 6-month study contract from the U.S. Space Force's Space and Missile Systems Center. The contract is to, quote, assess the feasibility and long-term viability of a weather data as a service business model, unquote, said Gearhart, the chief of the Space and Missile Systems Center Production Corps Low Earth Orbit Division. The contract awarded to SpaceX is part of a Space Force program called Electro-Optical/Infrared Weather System, or EO/IR-EWS. The consortium in June awarded $309 million in contracts. The U.S. Army is interested in buying satellite-based communication services to improve the performance of its logistics system. Quote, the Army is conducting market research to better understand how commercially managed satellite communication services might support its logistic network modernization efforts, known as sustainment tactical networks, unquote, a spokesperson said in a statement. The Sustainment Tactical Network administers data for all logistic operations across the Army, including the transportation of supplies and personnel, as well as medical records. NASA has selected its first human-tended commercial suborbital research payload, an experiment out of the Southwest Research Institute that will test the operation of a camera designed to work at low light levels in order to see how it could be used for astronomical imaging, as well as a separate suite of biomedical sensors. The planetary scientist Alan Stern, an associate vice president at SWRI, will go on a Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 suborbital flight, wearing the biomedical sensors and operating the camera. Quote, although preparations are going well, we are not quite at the stage where we can confirm specific planned flight dates, unquote. Telesat announced today it has won an $18.3 million contract from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency to produce 2 satellite buses for the Blackjack low Earth orbit constellation. The 2 satellites will be a, quote, highly modified version, unquote, of the Airbus Aero spacecraft, Don Brown, general manager of the Telesat U.S. Services, told Space News. The 2 satellites will be delivered in 2021 and will be part of a Blackjack demonstration of optical intersatellite link in orbit, Brown said. DARPA plans to deploy 20 spacecraft connected by optical intersatellite links and demonstrate how the military could use low Earth orbit networks for communication, missile tracking, and navigation. SNB is brought to you by, statistically speaking, about 49% of you might wear bras. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I even know what I'm talking about when it comes to them. However, our new sponsor, Hope's Chest, does. Since 2009, they've specialized in helping breast cancer survivors and those who've had reconstructive surgery, breast augmentation, and reductions. They also help those that are well-endowed, itty-bitty, athletes, moms-to-be, and those who have suffered from fibromyalgia. So if you have a problem trying to find the right fitting bra, head over to hopeschest.com for a unique bra fitting experience. They're going to help you find the perfect fitting bra for you. Once again, head over to hopeschest.com or give them a call at 714-797-9996. Law, policy, and events in space. According to California-based tracking company Leo Labs, 2 big pieces of space junk are zooming towards a close approach that will occur Thursday at 8:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. The next launch looks like it's October 18th, and that's a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that's expected to launch the 13th batch of approximately 60 operational satellites for the company's Starlink broadband network. There you go. Happy Hump Day. So subscribe, rate, and review. Hit the little ding on YouTube or the subscribe button on wherever you get this podcast. And leave us a review. Also a 5-star rating. That really helps us. Give us something. Give us some sort of review. I don't care if it's just a smiley face. It helps us out. So keep a lookout for that launch. But that's over the weekend, so don't really worry about it. Also, look out for that collision. That'll be happening, probably not a collision, but maybe very close. But anyway, all right, so drink your water. I'm Chad Scarborough. We'll be back here tomorrow. SNB is a space news aggregate that takes all the top space news headlines on the internet and presents them in a less than 10-minute podcast. In order to have complete transparency, every story talked about on this podcast is listed in the show notes. We do not take credit for writing any of these stories.
Blue Hell.